taking up all your queries. So don't forget to call us on the numbers on your screen. You can also reach out to us on WhatsApp, and both the numbers on the calling number and the WhatsApp numbers are flashing on your screens at the moment. Now, before we begin with the show, I'd like to introduce our guests for this evening. Manish Chaudhary, Head of Research at Stocksbox, will be joining us on the fundamentals, and our technical expert will be in very soon. Good evening, Manish. Welcome to the show. We'll take the first query until we get our technical expert on board as well. The first query that we're getting... Good evening. The first query that we're getting is on WhatsApp from Dinesh. He's written to us all the way from Saudi Arabia. He holds 12 lakh shares of Yes Bank for the last 4.5 years at 22.5 rupees a piece. That roughly sums to over 2.5 crores. So that's a solid investment in Yes Bank that we're seeing from Dinesh. He's asking if we should hold on to this particular stock. The stock is down from his buying price. What is your view?
Currently, Yes Bank in the last few quarters has posted consistent results. But the issue with Yes Bank is it has a very large equity base, and still the stake held by SBI, it is still trying to find buyers for that stake. Unless and until we have a clarity on that front, I feel that it is better to avoid Yes Bank. And as his buying price is around 22.5 rupees, I would suggest that he exits on bounce for Yes Bank and enter into some good private banking space such as HDFC and ICICI. I feel these two banks offer a comfort valuation wise, and also with the large kind of base and solid underwriting. I feel HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank are better placed than Yes Bank from a 1 to 2 year perspective.
So HDFC and ICICI Bank are better bets than Yes Bank from a 1 year perspective. So Dinesh, our expert is of the view that you should sell Yes Bank at the moment. And on that note, we have our second guest, Amar Deo Singh, Senior Vice President of Research at Angel One, who's joining us on the technical front. Good evening, Amar. Can I call you Amar or Amar? What's the name?
Yeah, Amar.
Amar. Okay, good evening, Amar. So you'll be answering all our technical queries. And on that note, we'll move on to the second WhatsApp query that we're getting from Anindya Bhattacharya. He's written to us from Chennai, and he wishes to have a long-term perspective on Paytm. Paytm has recovered almost nearly 200% from its 52-week lows, and the company is also adopting various strategies to expedite its recovery. So what is your view on this particular investment?
So if you look at Paytm, we've seen this. This is one stock which has had a lot of regulations kick in and a lot of challenges. And the stock, if you look at from the last quarter of December 2021, from almost 1950 levels, the stock touched a low of 310, and then it has really turned around quite well, and it's been a multi-bagger since then. So that was in the month of May, where the stock had May of 2024, the stock had made a low of 310 and has bounced back quite well. Now, the key question is that is this a good level for fresh entry? I would say that one should rather wait it out and wait for some correction, because the stock has had a one-sided rally. And we've seen the markets correct, but this stock has really not corrected at all. So that also amplifies the fact that there is definitely a lot of interest which has come back in the stock. And if we go back in time slightly, in October of 2023, the stock had made a high of almost 998 levels. And from there, it had corrected by almost 60%. So again, it's back to those levels. But the good part is it's trading at the psychological level. So yes, this is one stock one can keep a close watch on, not entry at the current levels. Those who are long, they can hold on to as long as it holds above the psychological level 1000, 1020. Sustaining above that level, the stock has a potential to rally towards 1150, 1200 levels in the short term.
Okay, so that's a hold on Paytm. Viewers, you you can feel free to call us on the numbers that is flashing on your screen at the moment. These numbers are here for you to call and ask your queries so that our experts can answer them, and you can also write to us on WhatsApp. And on that note, we'll take our the next WhatsApp query written to us from Vijay. He's written to us from Delhi. He holds 50 shares of Infosys, bought at 1,829 apiece, and he's asking if he should hold or book profits. The stock is currently trading at 1,979 apiece of thereabouts. And what is your view on this particular Nifty 50 heavyweight, Manish?
Yeah, so currently, as far as IT is concerned, we have seen a recent run up in the overall IT space. But my sense is that from a 1 year perspective, I feel that with the latest management commentaries across the IT space, it suggests that the worst for the IT sector is behind. And going forward, we would see the discretionary spending coming back, especially the BFSI segment has already started showing some traction. And my sense is that we would see this traction going to other sectors as well as we move forward. The third quarter earnings would slightly be on the lower side because of the furloughs which will happen due to the large holidays in the US. But my sense is that going forward from a 1 year perspective, it's still a hold. And being the heavyweight counter in IT, I do not see it as a major downside for this stock. And I feel that Infi in the next 2 to 3 quarters should surprise the street on the upside.
Okay, so that is a hold on Infosys at the moment, but our expert believes that it could surprise the street in a couple of months. On that note, we have our first caller joining us this evening, called Anshul Bhupen from Mumbai. Good evening, Anshul. If you can hear me, please go ahead with your question.
No, I can hear you very clearly, madam.
Good evening.
My question is about Zomato. Few days back, I bought it for 294 rupees, 100 shares.
Okay.
And my target is about 2 years.
Okay.
So what is the technical and fundamental outlook?
Okay. So, Anshul, before I pose this question to our guests, I'd like to ask you, why did you invest in this particular stock?
Because I say all my friends, colleagues, relatives ordering from Zomato all the time. Zomato is penetrated in each and every household.
Definitely.
So I somehow feel that there is a great potential for this, but I don't know about the financial part of it.
Okay, okay. Thank you. So we'll get this question to Manish first. Manish, I'd like to ask your view on Zomato. Our viewer has bought this particular counter at 294 rupees a piece. He holds 100 shares of Zomato. What is your view? Should he hold on to this particular counter? He's asking for a view for the next 2 years.
I think Zomato had a fantastic run in the last 1 year, from around 100 odd levels to around 300 now. So I think the major driver for Zomato, apart from the food delivery business, is street expectations that the Blinkit business would do further well as we move forward. So lots of scalability is still there for Blinkit as the company plans to add more dark stores going forward. The food delivery as the core of the business continues to do well, with Blinkit offering it additional advantage. It also has some other businesses like the Hyperpure, which is a B2B kind of a business. And also it has recently acquired the ticketing business. So I think all these factors should culminate into better performance as we move forward. And already we are seeing that on the PAT level, the company has posted good profits in the last few quarters. So I feel if someone has a 2-year perspective, I feel it's still a hold.
So it's a hold on Zomato from Manish. Amar, I'd also like to know your view on Zomato because it has been a talked about counter for quite some time.
See, looking at Zomato, I would say from a long-term perspective, definitely the company has a turnaround and the company is on the right track because we've seen profitability also scaling up for the company. And secondly, from a perspective, from a technical perspective also, the stock continues to remain strong and firm. But what we need to understand is that markets are the way they are, and Zomato at a point of time was trading as low as I said, somewhere around 47 in February of last year. And then from there, it's gone up by almost 6 times. So we need to bear that in mind, that stocks would always witness some sort of volatility. So if you are there for the long haul, then definitely it makes sense. And also it would make even more sense if you look at this stock, or for example, Swiggy for the matter, you're looking at it more from adding on significant corrections, because then you are actually able to benefit out of it. Otherwise, what would happen is that if you're buying at the top, because if I just go back in time, in November when it was when the IPO came, the stock had made a high of almost 170, and from there it corrected all the way towards 47. So what I'm saying is that if you're looking at such stocks and you just invest at a point of time, and when the stock is correcting and it's a good company, quality stock, and you're not investing again, then it would really be difficult for you to make money from a longer term perspective. So please bear that in mind as well.
Okay. Understood. So on that note, we will go to our next caller called Vijay. He's joining us from Hyderabad. Good evening, Vijay. Please go ahead with your question.
Good evening, madam.
Good evening.
I bought Mphasis BFL 3200 call, madam.
Okay.
At the rate 50 rupees, madam.
No. Can I please know your question again? You bought which stock?
Mphasis.
Okay. And how many stocks?
Mphasis. I got a 3200 call.
Okay.
At the rate 50 rupees.
Okay.
How shall I hold or exit?
Understood. Okay, Amar, I'll take this question to you. What is your take on Mphasis? Our viewer seems to have invested in this particular counter.
I would say that he's taken a position in a call option for Mphasis. So currently the trend is up. So I would say that he can hold on to his position. There's only one level which I would say that as long as it doesn't breach the 3130 level, there's nothing much to worry. On the upside, any significant move is above the 32-35 level. So that's a zone of resistance for the stock. If you look at the stock from a short-term perspective, the trend remains strong, positive, even from the intermediate-term perspective or the long-term perspective. So the trend is positive. So he can hold on to his position as of now.
Okay, so it's a hold on Mphasis. On that note, we have our next caller joining in called Kamal Kant from Orissa. Hi, Kamal. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Good evening, madam.
Good evening. Please go ahead with your question.
Madam, I want to know the future prospect of Infibeam Avenue after demerging.
Okay. And, sir, why did you invest in Infibeam Avenue?
I have inquired so many fundamentals. One of them is RBI has sanctioned in sometime ago, I said so many prospects.
Okay.
In my point of view, it may be the multi-bagger stock in within 10 years.
Okay.
So I want to know after demerger, what is the future prospect of Infibeam Avenues?
Okay. So just confirming that you have not invested in this stock, right?
I had also holding the same stock at a level of 26.
Understood. Okay. Thank you. Manish, I'll pose this question to you. Our viewer wants to know a long-term outlook on Infibeam Avenue. What is your perspective on this particular stock?
Malika, unfortunately, this stock is not under my radar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Amar, do you have any coverage on this particular stock?
So Infibeam, from a technical perspective, I would say that the stock seems to be trading in a very narrow range. And till the time we don't see it sustaining above the 2930 mark, it's more or less trading in a range. So between 25 and 30, that's the range for the stock. We are seeing some side of signs of bearishness, but it's a clear-cut case of consolidation which is happening in the particular stock.
Okay, so are you positive on Infibeam or negative?
I would say that I have a neutral view on this stock.
Okay, got that. On that note, we have our next caller, Mohan, joining in from Hyderabad. Hi, Mohan. Good evening. Please go ahead with your question.
Yeah, good evening, madam. First of all, I appreciate you and thank you very much for your channel by giving good information, by bringing good, excellent HMI.
Thank you so much. We're glad to hear that. Please go ahead with your question then.
I'm 63 years old. My query is, I have purchased EFC Limited.
Okay.
At the rate 550, EFC.
Okay.
But by seeing just 15 days back, some mutual funds are buying, Bandhan Mutual Fund and Sage and Sabir Vartak. I have seen the names. Now it is around 700. I am a long-term investor. Can I hold it or can I book the profit, get out of it?
Okay, got you. So, how many shares of EFC do you hold?
500. 500 at the rate 550.
Okay. Thank you. So, Amar, I'll come to you on this one. What is your perspective on EFC? Our viewer seems to have bought 500 shares of EFC at 550 a piece. The stock is trading at 680, has been down around 3% today.
Yeah, I would say that he should definitely look at booking at least 50% profit, because if you look at the company, the company is primarily into the business of leasing offices, and also if you look at the financial performance of the company, its total sales would be for the quarter ended September was around 165 crores roughly. So it's not a big size company. Overall sales for the annual was somewhere around, last year was 500 plus crores. Currently, it has witnessed a sharp rally. So I would say you should definitely take out some money. And that's a good level, 680 levels. And the rest, what he can do, he can trail it. If he wants to hold on to the position, then ideally the stop loss is below the 630 mark. He can trail below that and hold on to the balance positions.
Okay, so it is a sell on EFC at the moment. Viewers, keep your calls coming in. We are trying and connecting to all the calls and answering all your queries. And on that note, we have Anoop joining us from Hyderabad. Hi, Anoop. Good evening. Please go ahead with your question.
Good evening, ma'am. I have a query on IRCTC.
Okay.
Can we buy IRCTC at current market price? Today, I saw that it was trading at nearly about 830 zones and 825. And for last 2 or 3 months after this budget, it was trading in the narrow range between this one 800 to 900. So can we see again 900 in IRCTC in the next one month or 2 months?
Okay. Got your question. Manish, I'll come to you for IRCTC. Our viewer seems to have some liking towards this particular stock. And even yesterday, we had a query on a couple of railway stocks, especially because budget is somewhere around the corner. Go ahead with your perspective on IRCTC.
See, IRCTC, fundamentally, the stock is good. But somehow, if we look at the valuation, I think still the company trades at around 50x multiple. And the kind of business it has, I think scalability going forward is an issue which I think market is anticipating, because the ticketing business, the catering business, the scalability in the last 2-3 years, markets, the kind of valuation it is trading at, it has not been able to justify its valuation at each of the segments which it trades at. So as far as IRCTC is concerned, I would say that if someone is holding at higher levels, I think it should be a hold. But if someone wants to have a fresh entry, I think there are better railway stocks which would see a more traction ahead of the budget. The top pick for a short-term railway stock would be, I think, RVNL and IRCON.
Okay, got that. And Amar, I'd also like to come to you on IRCTC, because our viewer asked that, is there a possibility of the stock touching 900 levels anytime soon? So what is your view?
If I look at IRCTC from a technical perspective, see, it's completely in trading in a very narrow range. And on the upside, there's one level where the stock needs to actually trade above, and that's 850, 860 zone is a strong resistance for the stock. The stock had tried to breach that level over the last few trading sessions, but it was unable to hold on to that level. So trading above 850, 860 would be the first sign that the stock could rally towards the 900 mark. And on the downside, the stock is strongly supported coming around the 800 level, 780, 800 level. That's the level of support which the stock has from a longer term perspective. Since the short term charts are negative, that's the reason we are seeing this sort of consolidation or choppiness in IRCTC. So he can hold on to his position, and if it starts trading above the 850, 860 zone, then he can expect some upside rally. But it's a stock which is purely in a trading zone as of now.
Okay, so it is a hold on IRCTC from both our technical as well as our fundamental experts. And on that note, we have Suresh Kumar from Kerala joining us on the call. Good evening, Suresh. Please go ahead with your question.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am having good evening.
Please go ahead with your question, Suresh.
I am holding 2,500 numbers of IDFC First Bank.
Okay.
Should I hold it or sell it or average it? What should I do?
Okay, so
for 2 years?
I'd just like to confirm 2,500 or 500 shares of IDFC First Bank?
2,500.
Okay, 2,500 shares of IDFC First Bank, and I'm assuming you bought them at 70 rupees a piece?
Yes.
Okay. Can I know why were you interested in buying the stock of this particular bank?
Because I had IDFC company previously, then it was changed to IDFC First Bank.
Okay, got that. Simple enough. So, Manish, I'll come to you for this one. It is almost every day that we get a query on IDFC First Bank particularly, and our viewer wants to know if it is good enough to hold on to this particular stock for the next 2 years. The 1 year chart looks a little negative. The stock has been trading with a downward bias for 1 year or so. So what is your view? How does it look fundamentally?
I think IDFC First Bank in the second quarter earnings, the earnings took a big hit because of the larger provisions which it made for the bad debts which it anticipates in future. Mr. Vaidyanathan, who has come into IDFC Bank, I think he has tried to clear all the legacy issues of IDFC Bank, especially related to the infrastructure. His focus on growing the retail and the corporate book would bear fruit as we move forward. I feel that IDFC Bank at the current levels makes sense to hold from a 2 year perspective. I think the risk, this reward from a 2 year perspective at current prices favors IDFC First Bank.
Okay, got that. So it's a hold on IDFC First Bank as of now. On that note, we have our next caller joining in called Gaurav from Pune. Good evening, Gaurav. Please go ahead with your question.
मैडम मैंने इंडियन होटल के 500 शेयर लिया है.
ओके.
तो शॉर्ट टर्म और आज मतलब कितने दिन होल्ड कर सकते हैं उसको?
आपने इंडियन होटल्स में क्यों इन्वेस्ट किया?
इंडियन होटल के अभी भाग पहले से किए है, मतलब अभी शायद 4-5-6 महीने हो गए.
हाँ, तो कुछ पढ़ा था इसके बारे में, क्या जानकारी ली थी, क्यों इन्वेस्ट किया इंडियन होटल्स में? किसी ने बताया था?
पढ़ा था पीछे, नहीं पढ़ा था तो अभी इतना याद नहीं है. 6-7 महीने हो गए उसको देख के लिया था मैंने.
ठीक है. सो
अभी 80 के पीछे है शायद.
ठीक है. तो आपको लॉन्ग टर्म आउटलुक जानना है ना?
लॉन्ग टर्म और शॉर्ट टर्म दोनों में मतलब ठीक नहीं है तो फिर सेल करके दूसरा ले सकते हैं.
ठीक है. Understood. Amar, let's start with you on Indian hotels. The stock is trading at 12.3 times its book value. What is your particular perspective? How does it look on the charts?
So if I look at Indian hotels, I think this is one stock which really has performed exceedingly well in this quarter itself. It's up by almost 30% year till date. The stock is up by 100%. And if you look at the charts on different time frames, on the longer term, medium term, as well as the short term, all the different time frames continue to remain very strong and positive. And in the longer time frame, though it is in one of the technical indicators that points toward an overheated stock, but despite that, the stock has not relented and the stock is on an upway trajectory. So I would definitely recommend that if he wishes to hold on to his position, he can hold on to his position, or he should look at least booking part profit, 50% profit, and balance he can trail with a stop loss below 800 levels. Because generally what happens is that whenever a stock witnesses such a sharp rally, at a point of time there is a turning point that comes, and that is quite fast. So many a time one doesn't get an opportunity to exit. So I would recommend that at least part profit 30-40%, maybe 50% he can book, and rest all he can trail below 800 levels. So that would be a good way to move ahead.
Okay. And Manish, quickly to you as well. Is it a good time to bet on hospitality, especially Indian hotels like this viewer?
I feel that hospitality as an overall segment, this December quarter is going to be exceedingly strong with the kind of still there is a supply side issue from the hotel industry. So I feel that in this quarter you would see ARRs for most of the hotels upwards only. As far as Indian hotel is concerned, I think with the strong parentage of Tata Group and with the iconic Taj brand it has, and also Indian hotel has a mix of owned and managed properties. So that actually bodes well for the operating performance of Indian hotels. And also in the last few years, Indian hotels has deleveraged its balance sheet. So that is an additional point which favors Indian hotels at this price also. And I still remain positive on Indian hotels from a 1 to 2 year perspective.
Okay, got that. Viewers, now we will take a short break, but then do stay tuned to Ask Profit. Keep your queries coming in on the call numbers as well as the WhatsApp numbers. We're here to take them. We'll be right back.
We set you up for the day's trade. 30 calls before the markets open on NDTV Profit.
Jubilant Food above a 600 level on Friday.
Wipro can be first trade to buy
all commodities, but in that Vedanta looks good.
Our experts give you the top stock ideas to prepare you for the day.
ICICI Lombard stocks hit the first target.
It has given a very good momentum with good volume.
Don't miss the chance to make the right moves. Only on NDTV Profit, where winners are made before the bell rings.
When the whole day passes like a blur, the news just whizzes past, and you're trying to stay informed. It is our job to bring you news that truly matters. At Profit 360, we cut through the clutter, the long street deals, finance and policy news that could shape your tomorrow. The newsmakers, the trendsetters, and the innovators. In 30 minutes, we've got you covered. So stay ahead, stay informed, and stay profitable with Profit 360.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
When the whole day passes like a blur, the news just whizzes past, and you're trying to stay informed. It is our job to bring you news that truly matters. At Profit 360, we cut through the clutter, the long street deals, finance and policy news that could shape your tomorrow. The newsmakers, the trendsetters, and the innovators. In 30 minutes, we've got you covered. So stay ahead, stay informed, and stay profitable with Profit 360.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
A very good evening. Welcome back to Ask Profit only on NDTV Profit. And this is a show where you ask your questions and we try and answer them through our experts. Both fundamental and technical queries are taken. On that note, I'd like to introduce my experts for this evening. Manish Chaudhary, Head of Research at Stocksbox, join us on the fundamentals, while Amardev Singh, Senior Vice President of Research at Angel One will join us on the technical front. And on that note, we will take our first call after this break. This call is coming in from Siddharth, all the way from Kolkata. Good evening, Siddharth. Please go ahead with your question.
Good evening, ma'am. My question is that can I enter Canara Bank at the present price of around 105 to 108 in this range?
Okay, and Siddharth, why are you interested in Canara Bank?
Because Canara Bank, seeing its financial performance for the last year or so,
okay,
I find it quite interesting.
Okay. Amar, let's take this question to you. Our viewer is interested in Canara Bank. He's not invested in the stock yet, but is keeping an eye. And I see that in the past 1 year, although it is not doing as, is not as bad as how it was in the very beginning of this year, but has given most of its gains. In fact, it is 18% down YTD. What is your suggestion to Siddharth?
See, overall, if you look at the banking space, we did witness some sharp up move in the PSU banking space, and then there's some correction which has set in. From that perspective, Canara Bank, we are seeing that the long-term charts continue to remain strong and positive. However, currently we are seeing some sort of consolidation happening between a range of 95, 92 on the downside, and it's around 110 on the upside. So it's trading in a range of 90 to 100. Buying would be a good opportunity, provided you buy slightly lower, maybe at around 100 level. So wait for some correction, and then maybe you can enter Canara Bank, because then you have a better opportunity of an upside potential of 15 to 20%. Because till the time we don't see Canara Bank trading above the 120 level, I would say it's likely to trade in a consolidation zone. From that perspective, wait for a correction to enter Canara Bank, not at the current levels.
Okay, so you shouldn't enter at the current levels. You should wait for a correction to happen for an attractive buy price. On that note, we have another caller joining in called Atul Gupta, again from Kolkata. Good evening, Atul. Please go ahead with your question.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
I am holding 100 shares of Bayer CropScience.
Okay.
I bought it 15 years back at the price of 280 rupees.
Okay.
So I wanted to know, what strategy should I adopt? Should I continue to hold?
Okay, understood. Sir, why did you particularly invest in this stock?
Well, that time, I had a hunch that it's a multinational company and they were having a huge parcel of land and they wanted to sell and give the dividend. But that never happened.
Okay. Got you, sir. So, Manish, I'll come to you for this one. Our viewer, Atul Gupta, has bought shares of Bayer CropScience 15 years back at a price of 280 rupees. He's sitting at good amount of profits. The current price of this stock is 6,023. He's asking what should be his strategy. Should he hold or should he sell?
I think when I talk about the chemical space, especially the agrochemical space, I think there has been some pain in the chemical and the agrochemical space in the last 1 to 2 years. But my sense is that from here on, the pain which was mostly linked to the global destocking issue, I think that is behind us. And I think from here on, we should see an uptake in the overall chemical and agrochemical space. And with Bayer being one of the multinational companies and having a ROC and ROE of around 30 and more, 30% and more, I think it is one of the best plays in the agrochemical space. So if someone is holding it, I think it should be a hold. I think because going forward, we should see some earning improvement when this sector turns around. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that view. On that note, we'll hop to our next caller called Anthony. He's calling us from Gurgaon. Good evening, Anthony. Please ask away your question.
Yeah, hi. Good evening.
Good evening.
My question is on ITC. I hold ITC for a little over a year, maybe a year and a half, 1,000 shares at about 400 rupees.
Okay.
I bought it keeping in mind the demerger of the hotels, which I see on a ticker on your own screen that it's going to happen from 1st of Jan. So I was just wondering whether I should hold or sell at this rate.
Okay. And was demerger the only motivating factor for you to invest in ITC?
Not necessarily. It was ITC is a good dividend-paying company, and I like the company. But the added attraction was the demerger. I thought it's going to go up, but it hasn't really gone up too much.
Okay, got that. So, Amar, let's come to you for this one. Our viewer has invested in ITCs, and he's asking if he should hold on to this particular stock or sell. What is your take? The company is almost debt-free and has given a good return on equity of 27.5% for the last 3 years.
So see, looking at ITC, these are stocks which one can definitely keep in one's portfolio, given the I would say areas or sectors where the company operates. Because earlier it was primarily a cigarette manufacturing company, but then it distributed, has moved into FMCG, then hotels and paper boards, packaging, agribusiness. So it's moved into a lot of different diverse businesses, which all have a lot of potential. So I would say if he has a long-term view, then definitely keeping a position in ITC would be a good idea.
Okay. On that note, we have our next caller called Kailash joining us all the way from Thiruvananthapuram. Good evening, Kailash. Please go ahead with your question.
I have 200 FirstCry at the rate of 598.
Okay.
Can you tell me what would be the perspective of this company from a 2-year perspective?
Sir, why did you invest in FirstCry?
Two things. One, I believe it is part of Mahindra and Mahindra Group. And two, it is probably the best organized retail for the newborn babies, which would have a good market in the future.
Okay, got your question.
Yeah.
And you're asking for an outlook for 2 years, right?
2 years, or 2 years, or maybe 3 years.
Okay.
I'm a long-time investor.
Okay, got that, sir. Manish, let's take this question to you. Our viewer has invested 200 shares, has actually bought 200 shares of FirstCry. It goes by the name of Brainbees Solutions for the benefit of our viewers on the stock exchanges. What is your take on this particular counter? Should he remain invested for the next 2-3 years?
My sense is that FirstCry in this segment it operates is a highly competitive segment. I think every other store or every other nearby competition is affecting Brainbees. And secondly, I feel the profitability is still an issue for this company. And in the past 3-4 years, the company has consistently posted losses. And with the kind of niche segment it operates and the kind of competition coming in the overall apparel industry, I feel it is better to be away from this counter.
So it's not a great idea to be invested in this counter, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for that. And on that note, we will go to our next caller called Satyendra Singh. He's joining us from Rajasthan. Good evening, Satyendra. Please go ahead with your question.
Good evening, madam. I have the Morepen Labs shares.
2,000 at the price of 83.88. I want to know about the long term and short term both prospects about this.
Okay. So because you've bought this particular share at very close to its current price, I'd like to ask you, when did you invest?
Actually, I not bought today or the last day. I've been bought since last 1 month. So it goes to 91.70. I am tracking it. But I want to exit at 95 or 100. I have the targets of 100 or 103.
Okay.
So I want to know that from last 2 days, the share is becoming in the bearish way. I want to know about its short and long-term outlook.
Understood. Understood. Okay. So, Amar, I'll ask this question to you. Our viewer has invested in Morepen Laboratories. This is involved in the business of manufacturing, producing, developing and marketing a wide range of active pharmaceutical ingredients. Do you think this is the right stock to be invested in? And he currently holds 2,000 shares of this particular counter at 83.88 apiece.
Yeah, so looking at Morepen Laboratories, basically the company is into pharma. It's a leader in anti-asthmatic drugs. And also if you look at the company's PE with compared to its peers, that's somewhere around 35 or so. That's on similar lines. But having said that, the company is still a long way to grow in terms of profitability. It has been somewhat means the sales have really not materialized if you look at quarter to quarter. Now coming to the price movement, we did see a significant jump in the price for the stock from almost 60 levels to 100, and then again it came down all the way towards 73 in the month of November. Now it's back to around 85. See, what's happening in this particular stock is that from a long-term perspective, it's positive, but the intermediate-term trend, that clearly shows that it's in for consolidation. So what ideally one should do is if you want to have a perspective from a short term, then 82 is a very strong support zone for the stock. On the upside, the stock needs to sustain above the 90 level for any meaningful rally, because its all-time high, as I spoke, it was somewhere around 101. So sustaining above 90 is very important. Technically, if you ask me, short-term trend remains positive, nothing much of a concern. But for any upside, it has to sustain above the 90 levels. 82 is a very strong support for the stock. So currently, you can hold on to your position.
Okay, so it's a hold on Morepen Laboratories. Thank you so much for that. And on that note, we have our next caller joining in. He's Amish Shah from Mumbai. Good evening, Amish. Please go ahead with your question.
Hey, good evening. I want to invest in Vodafone Idea for a long term. I'm looking for investing around 2 lakhs rupees. So what is the advice on that for a long term? Can I enter now or should I wait?
Sir, why are you particularly interested in Vodafone?
Being a telco company, I got some news that government has some holding in this, and government may support Vodafone to come out of the trouble, and there may be some increase in the price. That is what the rumor I've heard. So I just want an expert advice on that.
Okay. Manish, we'll come to you for Vodafone. Our viewer seems to be interested in purchasing shares of Vodafone, and he's also told us that he has heard rumors of the government supporting Vodafone and this particular telecom giant. What is your view? Should he go ahead?
If I purely talk from the fundamental perspective, I feel that there are 2-3 points which makes a case that one should stay away from Vodafone. The first thing is it is continuously losing market share to its peers like Bharti Airtel and Jio. So the loss of subscriber base is huge. Secondly, it is still trying to penetrate into the 5G, which is a space which has been actively taken upon by its competitors. Thirdly, the financials are in a very dire situation where the overall gross debt of the company is upwards of 2 lakh crores. So I think a lot of clearance of the debt is needed for the operational performance to kick in. And also the ARPU for Vodafone is the lowest in the telecom space as compared to its peers like Airtel and Jio. So my suggestion would be, if someone wants to enter into a telecom space only, then I think one should avoid Vodafone, and a better play would be Bharti Airtel at the current price as well.
Okay, so one should avoid Vodafone is the view coming in from our expert. And on that note, we will hop on to our next caller of the day, Krishnamurthy, joining us from Bengaluru. Good evening, Krishnamurthy. Please go ahead with your question.
Good evening. My name is Krishnamurthy.
Good evening.
I hold about 1 lakh shares of Hindustan Construction Company.
Okay, and so
at the price of 16 rupees.
Sorry, sir. Could you please say that price again?
The price is 16 rupees.
Okay. So
and
when
I can
did you
hold it for him. I purchased it about 4 years ago. 5 years ago.
4 years ago. Okay, sir. And why were you interested in Hindustan Construction Company?
But I come from the construction industry myself. I got a lot of respect for HCC.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Got that.
I can hold for another medium term for 3-4 years, no issue.
Understood. Manish, I'll come to you for Hindustan Construction Company. Our viewer holds 1 lakh shares of Hindustan Construction Company at 16 rupees a piece, and he's asking for a medium-term outlook. What is your perspective?
HCC, I think it has recently, I think today it has come out with a QIB around of 45, something of that sort. So, and I think it is raising around 1,000 crore rupees through QIB at around this price only. I feel that with the kind of turnaround which the company has seen in terms of the debt reduction, it has already started showing in the performance. And in the last 2 years, it has hit the profitability mark. Going forward, my sense is that with the kind of order book and the execution which it has shown in the last 2 years, I think that should continue, and we should see more better performance going ahead. So if someone is holding SCC at lower levels, so I think it's still a hold from a 1 to 2 year perspective.
Okay. Thank you for that view. And now we have our next caller joining us, called Venkateshwar Rao from Andhra Pradesh. Hi, Venkateshwar. Could you please tell us your question? Okay. We seem to have lost his phone line, so I'll go with his query. He has invested 500 shares. He's bought 500 shares of EPACK Durable at 242 rupees a piece, and he's asking if he should exit or hold for the long term. I'll take this question to Amar. Amar, how does EPACK Durables look on the charts?
Yeah, so if you look at this particular stock, see, I honestly don't track this stock, but I pulled it, and we've seen a lot of volatility in the stock in particular. And the stock witnessed some lower circuits also in the month of November. Because in November, first week of November, it had made a high of 515. And post that, it corrected all the way by 27th of November towards 360. And again, it's back to the 500 levels. So I really wouldn't be able to comment much on this for the simple reason is that this stock has been witnessing some unusual movement in the sense that lower circuits were witnessed in the stock for many days. So ideally, he should look at getting some more fundamental news on this stock and then decide. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to comment on this technically as well because there's not too much of data as well.
Okay. Manish, do you have any view, a fundamental view on EPACK Durable?
I think it's a recent listed company. So I think EPACK is more into the ODM space in the air conditioning space. So the kind of valuation it is currently trading at, I think it is better to avoid this stock at this point in time. Though the runway for the overall air conditioning space and the RAC space is still there. But with the kind of valuation it is commanding around 90 odd, the P multiple, I feel it is better to avoid this stock and yeah.
Okay, got you. On that note, we have Sandeep joining us from Bengaluru. Hi Sandeep, good evening.
Hi ma'am, my name is Sandeep. I got 1,000 shares of Afcons Infra this morning.
Okay.
Just trying to understand how the short-term technicals are looking for next 15 to 20 days.
Okay, so you bought...
I got it at the price of 549.
So you bought the stock this morning is what you said?
Exactly, yeah, for 549, 1,000 shares.
Okay, okay. And you're looking for a short-term perspective then?
Yeah, for next 15 to 20 days, yeah, how the technicals are looking, yeah.
Okay, before I take this question to the guest, I'd like to ask you, why did you invest in this particular counter? Was there any news that you saw?
I saw the brokerage call this morning and knowing their strong order book and the recent metro project win, I thought there is going to be a momentum, so that's my bet.
Okay, okay. I'll come to you on this, Manish. What is your perspective on Afcons Infra?
I think it is difficult to give a 15 to 20 days of a view based on fundamentals. But if I talk about fundamentals, yes, the company has weathered all the cycles and it has executed fantastically well in the last 11, 12 years it has been in the business. And the kind of order book it has, especially in the urban infrastructure, and the kind of capabilities it showcases right from the difficult projects on the marine and the high terrain bridges across India. I feel that it has a niche for itself. And if someone is willing to hold this stock for at least 2 years, I think this stock should be a hold, because I think the company's performance from here on and with the kind of government thrust on the infrastructure, I think the earnings should improve as we move forward.
Okay, okay. It's a hold from our fundamental expert. But Amar, I'd also like to pose this question to you because he was looking for a 15 to 20-day analysis. What is your take on Afcons Infra?
So I would say that, the stock has witnessed a rally post its listing from almost 420 levels. It made an all-time high today of 567, and then it closed lower towards 540. So there is definitely some bullish momentum in the stock. Strong support for the stock is somewhere around the 500, 510 zone. He can hold on to his position. The important level to watch out for is 560 on the upside. Sustaining above that level, then it could witness some upside move towards 575, 580 levels in the short term.
Okay. Now we will go to our next caller called Gautam. He's joining us from Tamil Nadu. Good evening, Gautam. Please go ahead with your question.
Hello, madam. My name is Gautam Janakiraman. I'm just starting my investment journey. Actually, today I bought 25 Tata Power stock, the rate of 426, but it seems like it is going down. I just wanted to know, is it okay to hold the Tata Power for a long term?
Okay, understood. So, Manish, I will come to you for this one. Our viewer seems to have invested in Tata Power at 426 a piece. The current price is 421. He's asking if it is a good time to buy and stay invested in this particular counter.
I think in the power generation space, in the private space, I think Tata Power is one of the good stock fundamentally. It has a wide presence. It has an equal kind of a distribution around thermal, hydro, renewable. So I think it covers almost all the part of the energy generation business. And it also has a very strong commissioning pipeline for the next 2 to 3 years. So I feel that Tata Power at these levels is definitely a hold. And I think we should see an improved performance going ahead.
Okay, got that. So it's a hold on Tata Power at the moment. We will take our next query, which has come in on WhatsApp. Avinash has written to us all the way from Nalanda, Bihar. He holds 200 shares of Greaves Cotton at 201 a piece, and he's asking if he should hold or sell. So Greaves Cotton is nearly close to its 52-week high, with the stock cashing speed around the 10th of December. So I'll come to you on this, Amar. What do you think? Should he hold on to this particular stock?
So if I look at this particular stock, the stock has witnessed some sharp move over the last few trading sessions. from 9th of December, because earlier 200 was acting as a zone of resistance. And the stock has rallied by almost 20% and currently trades around 240. Going back in time, if I look at the stock, in the first quarter of March 2022, the stock had made a high of 260, 259 to be precise. So ideally sustaining above, and a recent high was also 259. So what it effectively means is that 255, 260 is going to act as a zone of strong resistance for the stock. For a stock to really trade significantly higher, that level needs to be breached. So ideally, he should hold on to his position because the momentum is very strong in the charts. And the stock now has got good support coming around the 217 levels or so.
Okay, got that. Thank you. And we have our next caller joining us called PK Sharma. Good evening, PK. Please go ahead with your query.
Yeah, my query is I have bought 1,000 shares of NBCC at a price of rupees 100 rupees 40 paise. I am in a position to hold it for 3 to 4 months. I would like to have the views on this thing.
Okay, Amar, let's go to you again on this one. What is your perspective on NBCC? How does it look on the charts?
See, if you look at NBCC, ideally, if you ask me, it's not showing very positive signs on the charts from an intermediate term perspective. Long term, though, the trend is positive, but intermediate term, we are seeing some sort of consolidation because the stock did manage to rally. Because if you look at the stock in the last week of November, from almost 87, it rallied all the way towards 104, 105 levels, and now it's consolidating around the 100 level. So what it effectively means is that if he gets an opportunity to exit around the 103 to 105 level, ideally one should look at exiting because the stock, as I said, from an intermediate term perspective, appears to clearly display that it's going in a trend in a trading zone, and the trend which was earlier there, that seems to be losing out.
It's a sell on NBCC then, and quickly we have our next caller joining in from Chennai, Bala Rajeshwari. Good evening, Bala. Please go ahead with your question.
Good evening, sir. I have bought Ola Electric at the rate of 109.
Okay.
Whether shall I hold it or if it is a long time means I will hold it. That I want your advice.
Okay. Okay.
Now it is going to.
Understood. Understood. Manish, could you please help us help our viewer with Ola Electric? What should she do? Should she hold or sell? Very quickly.
I think in the two-wheeler space, I think Ola Electric, I think it's just sell at this point in time because I feel it still has to show on the execution front. The Gigafactory, which is highly talked about, I think the execution is still away. So I think we would wait for the execution on the Gigafactory and the other stuff which the company has said. And that when it starts reflecting on the numbers, I think that would be an ideal time to enter into Ola Electric. As far as the two-wheeler space is concerned, I feel Hero MotoCorp at this point in time is one of the best plays in the two-wheeler space with the kind of rural recovery expected going forward, and with the kind of the new product pipeline which the company has, I feel Hero MotoCorp from a one-year perspective looks a good bet.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us, dear guests. Please stay tuned to NDTV Profit and Ask Profit. We're here to answer all your questions. And thank you so much, gentlemen, for being such sports and answering all our queries. Do stay tuned, and we will see you tomorrow in the morning as well as in the evening.
We set you up for the day's trade. 30 calls before the markets open on NDTV Profit.
Jubilant Food above a 600 level on Friday.
Wipro can be first trade to buy
all commodities, but in that Vedanta looks good.
Our experts give you the top stock ideas to prepare you for the day.
ICICI Lombard stocks hit the first target.
It has given a very good momentum with good volume.
Don't miss the chance to make the right moves. only on NDTV Profit, where winners are made before the bell rings.
When the whole day passes like a blur, the news just whizzes past, and you're trying to stay informed. It is our job to bring you news that truly matters. At Profit 360, we cut through the clutter, the long street deals, finance and policy news that could shape your tomorrow. The newsmakers, the trendsetters, and the innovators. In 30 minutes, we've got you covered. So stay ahead, stay informed, and stay profitable with Profit 360.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
When the whole day passes like a blur, the news just whizzes past, and you're trying to stay informed. It is our job to bring you news that truly matters. At Profit 360, we cut through the clutter, the long street deals, finance and policy news that could shape your tomorrow. The newsmakers, the trendsetters, and the innovators. In 30 minutes, we've got you covered. So stay ahead, stay informed, and stay profitable with Profit 360.